Please tell us, Jack, how you met Jim Jackson.
Right after the war, I maintained my membership in NMU. It was in the late 40s, 46, 47. But my father was opening up a restaurant in Miami, so I took a year off to go down and help him. And during that time, I joined the Southern Negro Youth Congress, and I was part of by the CIO Operation Dixie, and I was organizing with the hotel and restaurant workers in Miami, Florida, and over on the beach. So as a member of the Southern Negro Youth Congress, they held their convention that year, 1946, in Columbia, South Carolina, and I was one of the chapter members from Miami that went up to that convention. That's where I met Jim and Esther and oh my man, several people, several leading communists at that convention. Dr. Du Bois spoke. Herbert Atheca spoke at the convention.
Winston? Was Winston there? Harry?
No, Winston was not. Esther Jackson was actually the coordinator of the convention. So anyway, we had a nice delegation from from Miami, and somehow they picked me to give read the peace resolution that was being proposed for adoption of the convention, and I did. And it was well received. I decided to stay in New York a while. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, I said stay in New York a while. Let's see how this went now. Oh yeah, I know. So I went back to New York in 47. This was 46. Shipping was pretty good. And in and I made this trip to Sweden, came back, went to the NMU convention. I'm mixing something up here. This is 50s, isn't it?
Yeah, we were talking about Columbia
Columbia, South
Carolina. Well, that's where you meet the Jacksons.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, so then I started to ship, and then okay, so you know the rest of that.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, very good. All right, so after the Eastland Committee appeared in New Orleans, I went back to New York, and Jim Jackson's trial was coming up under the Smith Act. And you know, during the 50s, a number of leaders of the Communist Party. Well, I had met Jim Jackson down in, I'd met them at the Southern Negro Youth Congress. So, and then Paul Robeson was called before that same committee that I just talked about, and we had the same lawyer. Yeah. So anyway, in any case, Jim Jackson asked me to go down to Birmingham and meet with a guy named Homer Koch, who knew the Southern Negro Youth Congress people, because Southern Negro Youth Congress had its headquarters in Birmingham for a number of years, and he had been a member. So Jim Jackson was having his Smith Act arrest thing, and he was going to get Homer Koch to be a character witness for him. So he sent me down to Birmingham and to ask Homer Koch if he would be a character witness. And he said yes. So he came up, Homer Koch made a nice presentation and so forth. As he was leaving, he asked Jim Jackson, "Who is this fellow Odell?" This is what they was told me. And he said, "Well, you know, he's the guy that was down in New Orleans and so forth." He said, "Well, I think I would like to have him one of the leaders of my agency in Birmingham, of the Protective Industrial Insurance Company." He said, well, I'll talk with him about it. So Jim Jackson said, you know, they got a job for you down at the Protective Industrial Insurance Company in Birmingham if you're interested. Because the agency director, Homer Cope, he's just next to the president. He can hire who he wishes. So I said, okay, I've never been in insurance, but I'm not about to go back to New Orleans because New Orleans had one of them anti-communist things that they could arrest you, you know, in several states, like Texas, it's a death penalty. They pick you up as a communist and prove it, they can put you to death. Anyway, so I said, okay, I'll go back down to Birmingham and work with Mr. Cope.